Good morning and welcome to another episode of Try Bonsai. It is a very beautiful Sunday morning and it's the 31st of March, the end of the first quarter of the year, and it's also Easter Sunday. Now, so what you have in front of your face here, you're seeing the base of a forest. And this, my friends, is a candle tree forest that I would have created with the help of my good friend, Errol. And today, what I'm going to do, and this is a first for all your pals, what I am going to do is to prune this forest back into some kind of a shape. Right? So, you see in the base of it, let me give you the wider view. Alright? So my friends, this is the wider view of the forest. And as you can see, oh boy, it has grown quite a lot. Quite a lot. So, what's happening today is that we're gonna do some pruning to this forest. And I don't know if to call this extravagant Sunday. I don't know what I'm doing Sunday or what, but this candle tree forest, as I said, my friend and I would have created this forest, and what I'm going to do is to prune back this forest into some kind of, not necessarily a shape, but to start it off on towards becoming that great showpiece that I want to have in the future. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing some, just to give a little insight onto what I'm going to be doing. I am going to do some directional pruning, removing branches that don't make sense, trying to give a little bit of space in between so that each tree could grow somewhat individually, but also look as a collective, as a forest. So, as I said, I would have never done something like this before, in this scale, right? So having to prune this back, it will be me paying attention to each individual tree, following each tree up, pruning back, and then looking at it after from a distance, trying to create also that atypical type shape. Yeah, so again, thank you so very much for joining me here on Try Bonsai, and let me just go. So my friends, as you look at this forest, this is what I had pegged as the front of the forest, and I have, as you can see, some rocks placed in there, but you're going on, the rocks and them wasn't necessarily placed in there for decorative purposes. The original purpose of them rock and them was to help me hold down the forest, because I don't tie down my trees or my plants or whatever you want to call it. Right? I don't tie down my trees, so I use the rocks to hold down the planting so that the roots and them could establish themselves. Anyways, so this is the front of it, and I'm going to start, I guess, with the main tree that grows up, and it spreads quite a lot up on top here. The main tree spreads quite a lot on top here, actually creating something of a flat top, which is kind of overtaking the other trees. So I'm going to deal with this and everything else, and let's see how that goes. All right. So my friends are going to do something I see Nigel Saunders doing, and I don't have a glorious scissors, but I'm going to make some cuts, and then go in and do the directional pruning. So what I'm going to do is to take away all of the heavy set material to kind of give me a little bit of a better view with what I'm doing. So my friends, as you would have seen, I would have taken off the what I thought or what I think is the bulky items. So now is to go through each individual tree and do some directional pruning and set this forest off on its way to becoming a pretty nice bonsai in the future. Yeah, a penjing. So my friends, as I am looking at this forest, there are a couple of corrections that need to be made. There are, yes, some corrections that need to be made. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So, as I was saying, as I'm looking at this forest, I'm seeing some corrections that need to be made. In here, I have a tree that is not stable at all, and I don't know if something got into it, but I'm going to have to mound up the dirt and straighten this tree because it's leaning a lot towards the tree right next to it. All right, now I could leave it as is, as a feature in the forest, because not everything stands, straight as a pin. All right, some trees have some issues. Now what I have, if I turn to the side of the forest, you're going to notice that this tree comes up and leans out of the forest, but it has a bend in the trunk that wants it to kind of come back in. And I don't know if that is a good or a bad thing as yet. But as of right now, I think it's probably a kind of a bad thing, so I should probably try to straighten this and get it more in line with the rest of the trees to look like, as I said before, a collaborative effort, as a forest. The tree that is leaning inside, that is not necessarily stable, I will mound up some dirt, because it really and truly is not the stablest in the forest at all. All the others have some stability going on, but that fella needs some help. That fella needs some help. What I'm going to do is to try to get this fella straightened. But to be quite honest, I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do that, because the soil is wet, so it's not like I could lift the soil and push more soil under the dirt to help straighten the guy. So that's something that's something to think about. All right, so let's get to the work. Let's do the pruning, and then we'll come back to these little knickknacks. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So my friends, I'm not sure how much of the recording, the ending of the recording you all got, but this is what I was able to accomplish, and I would have done a few things, inclusive of trying to straighten this tree and trying to bring this more into the composition rather than being out of the composition. And ideally, the goal of this particular pruning is to get a more compact growth and to make this, forest a good looking thing in the future. So we're looking to develop more compact growth and that atypical triangular shape. I'm not sure that I have it right now, but that is something that I will work on as we move along into the future. So as I getting this 360 view, you will see all of the things that I would have done. As you could see, I made some really severe cuts to a couple of these trees. As a matter of fact, I made some severe cuts to all of them. And what I'm thinking is that eventually I don't want this forest to be this tall. Over time, I will reduce the height of this forest and keep working at it. So this is a work in process. All right. So with that, my friends, I would like to say thank you so very, very much for joining me here on Try Bonsai. As per usual, be good to yourself, be good to others, and always remember that our climate is our responsibility. We have the opportunity, to make our climate a better place, not only for ourselves, but for all the future generations. So on that note, my friends, have a good one. All right, take care. Bye.